A'ja Wilson was supposed to be the story of the night. Hours before tip-off, the cameras were glued to her, the MVP trophy shining in her hands, the crowd buzzing as the Las Vegas Aces prepared to celebrate another milestone in their dynasty. It was framed as her coronation, a night where the defending champions would flex their dominance and remind the rest of the league that this was still their throne. But the moment the ball went up, all of that shimmer began to crack. By the end of the night, the trophy Wilson held looked more like a distraction than a crown, because the Indiana Fever weren't there to play the role of respectful guests. They came to flip the script hand. They did it with fire, grit, and a refusal to bow to the league's reigning queens. From the start, the Aces leaned into intimidation. Elbows flew, screens turned into collisions. Lexi Hull found herself on the hardwood again and again, courtesy of A'ja Wilson's brute force. It was supposed to send a message, you don't belong here. But every shove, every cheap shot, only seemed to steal Indiana's resolve. Kelsey Mitchell, who's carried the Fever through years of irrelevance, answered Vegas's muscle with buckets. Cold, calculated, and merciless buckets. Shot after shot dropped, silencing the arena and exposing the arrogance of a team that thought physicality could mask their unraveling. For Las Vegas, desperation replaced discipline. Wilson, crowned MVP hours earlier, started flopping for calls, swinging elbows out of frustration, and missing point-blank layups she normally buried with ease. 6 for 22. That was her final stat line, a brutal reminder that trophies don't win, games execution does. Jackie Young tried to push through Mitchell on screens. Chelsea Gray tried to bully her way inside, but Indiana never blinked. They leaned into the chaos and responded with pace, sharp ball movement, and sheer resilience. The irony was thick. Becky Hammon had promised before the series that Indiana hadn't yet faced the real Aces. What Vegas delivered instead was a sloppy, rattled version of themselves unraveling on their home court, while the Fever, missing 6 players, including Caitlin Clark and Sophie Cunningham, played like the deeper, hungrier, sharper team. The underdogs, who weren't even supposed to make this competitive, turned the champs into flailing pretenders. Mitchell's playoff career-high 34 points weren't just numbers, they were daggers. Odyssey Sims, fearless and steady, backed her up with relentless drives and veteran poise, calming her teammates when the game tilted toward chaos. Natasha Howard and Brianna Turner made the paint a battlefield, holding their ground against Wilson and company with disciplined rotations that stripped the Aces of their usual rhythm. And Lexi Hull? She turned every shove into fuel, locking down Jackie Young, forcing her east to west instead of north to south, and finishing with the best plus-minus on the floor. The players Vegas tried to bully became the very ones who exposed their weakness. And then there was Aaliyah Boston. On the same night A'ja Wilson was crowned MVP, Boston turned her into the most frustrated player on the floor. She bodied Wilson possession after possession, forced her into contested shots, and held her to one of the ugliest playoff lines of her career. Wilson got the flowers, but Boston owned the garden when it mattered. The rookie-turned anchor never lost her composure, never overreached, and showed the kind of poise that wins playoff series by the final buzzer. The score wasn't just a number. Indiana had humiliated Las Vegas on their own floor, 89-73, stealing home court in Game 1 and rewriting the story of the series. And here's the kicker. History says 72% of teams that win Game 1 in a best-of-5 go on to take the series. Suddenly, the 6th seed that wasn't supposed to belong had control. While the defending champs looked like they were scrambling for excuses, Vegas came in riding 18 wins in their last 19 games. They walked out with their MVP exposed, their arrogance punctured, and their swagger stripped. Meanwhile, Indiana celebrated their first semifinal win in over a decade, led by a group that refused to play victim to elbows, flops, and intimidation. This wasn't just an upset. It was a warning shot. The Aces may have the hardware, but the Fever just proved they have the heart, the hunger, and the chemistry to tear it all down. And as Lexi Hull said after being knocked to the floor one too many times, this team is capable of whatever they want. So here's the question now. Was this just one magical night, or the beginning of a historic shift? Can Indiana ride this wave and bury the Aces on their own floor again? One more win in Vegas, and the two-time champs will be staring at elimination in Indianapolis. What do you think? Did the Fever expose the cracks in Las Vegas's dynasty for good? Can A'ja Wilson bounce back? Or has Aaliyah Boston taken the crown in real time? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Show your support for Indiana with a Fever show, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss the next chapter of this playoff drama.